Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk. Boy, we are winding up this year. It is moving so fast, but it's almost over. But we have a few more shows for you this year, and we are so excited that you're here with us. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer newspaper, and no longer in my little studio set. Now you're in my office. But, it's cool. I'm letting you see a little bit of how I live my day. I am so excited also to bring on to the show Misha Green, who is the our managing editor here at the Washington Informer. We want to make sure that you get a chance to talk to both of us because this is our year end segment. And so we've got a lot that we want to talk about. And Misha, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to join you from your new spot on Win TV. I love it. I get to see that background quite a lot, but I think it's really cool for the audience. But yeah, we have, as we talk about change, there's a lot that we did this year. And so we just sort of want to take a time to recap that, think about all that we've done in 2025 and all that's happened in the district, nation, and world. And then think about what we're doing and what some leaders are doing to try to fix that in 2026. So
I like that theme that we came up with. We survived 2025. We're going to get it fixed in 2026. I love it. I love it.
So awesome.
I'm glad that you're here. You're bringing on our talented team of reporters who will be sharing their top stories for the year and giving us some insight into what we can expect of the coverage in the Washington Informer, not only in print but on digital events, all the places that our newsletters, what you can expect from our coverage in 2026. And we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts, the thoughts of our viewers, the thoughts of our readers. We want to engage with you more so that we're actually producing the news that you can use. We also want to invite our audience to Busboys and Poets on next Sunday, December the 21st, when we're going to recognize some of the outstanding participants of the Best in the DMV program. I'm so excited that Raja Kelly of our team was able to move this. This is our first Best of the DMV. It won't be our last. So we ask you to bear with us as we've gotten through some little hurdles here, but we're expecting a great program. We want to thank Busboys and Poets for graciously allowing us to have our end of the year celebration there, as well as our Best of the DMV Awards and our fundraiser for our James Wright Scholarship Fund, which we'll talk about. I'll have Misha to talk about a little bit more. You can purchase tickets for this online. Just go to WashingtonInformer.com and you can purchase tickets there. And the link is in the at the bottom of the screen. So we want you to hurry up and do that. We want to see you on the 21st. Have a good time. But before we jump into our discussions today, we want to make sure you also pick up a copy of the most recent issue of the Washington Informer. And if you can't get the printed copy, which are available in over 600 locations throughout the DMV, you can access the digital edition anytime, anywhere, just by visiting us at WashingtonInformer.com. Make that a pen or whatever we do, to make that a special place that folks can go to. We want to make sure that you keep us right front and center in your daily perusal of websites. And while you're there, please consider becoming a subscriber. Access is free, and by becoming a subscriber, you will receive our daily newsletter. All you have to do, only thing we ask you for is your email address, not anything else. There's no cost. And you'll receive daily news updates in our exclusive e-newsletter, Win Daily, and a whole lot of other things that we're doing in the community because, as I said, we want to keep you engaged. And while tuning into the show today, we really ask that you share this broadcast on your social media platforms. You can follow us on Facebook, IG, X, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I think I've missed one or two. But anyway, you can follow us and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Washington Informer TV, no spaces. where you can watch some of the Let's Talk episodes that you may have missed throughout the year. And I think, Misha, this is our sixth. I think we're going into our seventh year. Can you believe it?
That is just amazing. And I think just shows the importance of, you know, progressing with media and what the Black press can do. And congratulations. I'm it totally, totally worth, I think, celebrating 7 years of the work that you're doing.
And we do not only Let's Talk, but folks, you do some amazing Washington Informer lives. You've interviewed some amazing individuals, both locally, nationally, and globally, on your lives, and those can pop up anytime during the week. But they'll also find that on YouTube.
Yeah, our entire team is really working hard to uh, give you all digital content. We have some amazing people uh, telling wonderful stories through packages, video packages. So also make sure you all check that out and just know that the Washington Informer is going to get the news to you all in all ways. So be sure to stay tuned for all that we have. And speaking of which, this past week we had our health supplement, which was, I think, a really great special edition because it not only focused on uplifting health, but planning not only for 2026, but beyond. One of the things it didn't get in the health supplement, but that I was thinking as I was writing was it's almost this stay ready so you don't have to get ready mentality that we talk about all the time. And that's what it is with health as well. And so there's some great stories about work happening here in the district, including Jada Ingleton does a piece about Carindale with AmeriHealth, which you'll see right there on your screens. And then Dr. Patrice Holden has a great story about mental health, and particularly rest as resistance, and where we are in this world with so much going on, prioritizing rest as a form of combating mental health. And then, of course, we have what you all love, our holiday recipes, and also just some great content from some of our wonderful sponsors at the Washington Informer. So make sure you check it out. It's I always say our special editions are resource guides, but this one I think resonated in many ways, not just because we were talking about the importance of Black health and prioritizing health uh, in all seasons, but we have been having a lot of serious conversations here at the Washington Informer about health and prioritizing our health and taking care of ourselves. And sometimes we don't remember to have those pulse check-ins as much as we'd like to, because there's so much happening. But unfortunately, we lost a beloved team member, James L. Wright Jr. And since then, the staff has been coping, grieving, really trying to pick up the pieces. But it also has started a lot of great conversations about what we can do in our own villages and communities to make sure that our people are healthy and safe and feel like they can come to you. And so this episode is not just about the work that we've done all year. James was supposed to be a part of this episode, chronicling so much of the amazing work that he did this year. But while he's not here to talk about it, we are here to keep his legacy alive. And so this episode is in honor of James and his amazing contribution to the Washington Informer, to the Black press, to DC News, and really to the world. We love you, James.
Absolutely, Misha. One of the things that people often say to me, have said to me over the last couple of weeks, was James's smile. I mean, not only is great journalism, of course, they've talked about that, and he evidently was really respected, by the community overall because he was just there and he told stories that folks thought were fair and really informative. But he just had that tender smile, that folks seem to really remember him for, and his sort of wonderful disposition. So yeah, that's some of our photographs, but that smile never changes. It's always the same. It's so that's one good way to remember him. And the other thing I'll just say briefly is that when you talk about health, we've had those conversations as well. I had one yesterday. Well, some people talk about the fact that Black folks end up in situations because they don't have access to health care. But we find that it's not just access, it's accessing health care. You have health insurance, you can pay for your health care, but do we actually do the things that we need to do to remain healthy, to preventative health measures that we don't take? And as you know, I'm really talking to my brothers, Black men who really don't do what, and I'm shouting you out, but don't do what they should do to make sure that when they have those signs. I talked with someone yesterday who told me her husband almost died because he denied something that was going on with him. And she finally forced him to go to the doctor. And they told her that he had about 7 hours if she had not gotten there when gotten him there, and they have great health care. So that's something we're going to fix in 2026, and we're going to do it in honor of our beloved James Wright. And so that's why we're really happy to have folks on who will share again more of his life and what he has done to contribute to the community. We encourage our viewers to join us, and in this tribute, we have a couple of folks who are kind of lined up right now. We'll talk to them a little bit later in the show. And again, as I said, you can engage with us on our social media channels. You can share your memories, your stories, anything about James that you would like to share using the hashtag Remembering James. Hashtag Remembering James. Misha?
So, I think that where we are in the middle of December, which is just crazy to even think about that we're winding down. But it, in this transition, as we remember all of our ancestors and remember all that we've done this year, I was overwhelmed going over the things. So I'm just so excited to talk to our reporters. There has been so much. I realized we started the year off with on a high for DC, if you will. We had the mayor trek in the snow to get President Joe Biden to sign the RFK bill. That was the first week of January. 2 weeks later, President Donald Trump was inaugurated on MLK Day, and that caused a lot of shift for the district. Then you get, again, we're only talking about.
Understand what you said, Misha. SHIFT.
Oh, excuse me. Shift.
Yes.
Guys, y'all know I don't cuss, at least at work, but use the word how you please.
Exactly.
But it caused a lot of change and transition for the district, we'll say.
Exactly.
But one of those things was a major show of local activism. From the very beginning, the day of the inauguration, you had inauguration events and protests, and Reverend Al Sharpton hosted the event at Metropolitan AME. And so you get to that, and the immediate DEI elimination. And so you have that. And then unfortunately, the 67 people lives lost at the end of the month at Reagan National Airport, or near DCA Airport, I should say. And so that's just 1 month. I think every single one of those stories, Stacey Brown had a byline on. And so without further ado, I would love to bring Stacey Brown, if he's with us. Stacey, are you here?
Well, I almost wasn't when I heard shift. That's
You see.
He remember that this was, supposed to have been the inauguration with the biggest crowd ever, the biggest crowd in history, the biggest crowd in the world, that ended up being squeezed into the arena because of the snowstorm that came.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
I don't know if it was a snowstorm or cold, but whatever it is.
Cold.
Yeah, it was a cold. But anyway.
Yeah. Certain folks don't get really cold, so that,
Stacey.
Listen, you started this with the shift. You started all that shift.
This is great. But yeah, tell us, again, that was just January, and thank you for your fearless reporting throughout the year. It's been a busy year, certainly. But unfortunately, but it's kept you with stuff to do.
Yeah, I know.
That's certain.
And it's so funny too, because, and I'm sorry, it's so funny too, because we talk about this all the time in meetings, staff meetings, even over at NMPA. We don't really want to like go overboard on Trump, but everything comes back to Trump, right? And all of the dastardly things that have happened this year, the seed of it is Donald Trump. And I'll just give you one quick example of what's going on now that everybody needs to know, especially if you of the friendly persuasion, Black. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has proposed a rule. Now you got 5 days from today to try and stop this. And you know who heads the CFPB? It is none other than Russell Vought. And if you don't know Russell Vought, he is the architect of Project 2025. And they have proposed a rule, Denise and Misha, that would strip away key fair lending protections and make it far more difficult to prove discrimination in the credit market. Essentially, just to be brief about it, they are legalizing redlining. So it's something that I'm working on now, something to be aware of. You have 5 days to contact the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, either through email or phone calls. Contact your local representatives to shout out that you got to stop this. Otherwise, the comment period ends. They only gave us 5 days. Mainstream is not covering this, but the Washington Informer is.
Thank you, Stacey. I'm glad you brought that up because, when we think back over the year, the Trump administration has pushed a lot of initiatives. And in the beginning, maybe folks were just shell-shocked and just frozen, thinking, did he just do this? And there was no response. Right. And thankfully, I think in many cases, we began to see the judicial system step up. Right. So we saw, cases being overturned or decisions being reversed or what have you. We still got a Supreme Court that we don't know, what they're doing.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. But it's like the Congress was frozen. Mm-hmm. All the institutions were just like frozen. And in the meantime, thousands of people lost jobs.
Right.
Thousands of people were pushed out. Thousands of people right here in the DMV, are still trying to figure out, what to do next. But on the bright side, because we always got to find that. I don't care if it's where it is. I got to find something right about that, and that is what the judicial system has done. And even with the situation with the immigrants, and right. Now, I don't know, I'm getting brain freeze on who was just brought home.
Kilmar Garcia.
Garcia, yeah.
Of course, that you cannot rearrest him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know what's going to happen, but they say you cannot rearrest him. In the meantime, we've still got an administration that's keeping certain people from coming into the United States, sending people out. I mean, you covered all of that this year, but where are there any? We know all the bad things have happened. What has been the thing that's been most shocking to you?
Well, you've already jumped the gun on me, Denise. It's the court system.
Yeah.
You're right. And somebody, and I have been at the forefront of criticizing the Democrats, criticizing even Muriel Bowser. And you say somebody has to step up. Something. What is that somebody? Who is that somebody? Who is that something? And it has been the courts. And now, so you talk about silver linings and hope. The state of Indiana. So we know about the maps, the gerrymanders that's going on in California. Did it the right way. They put it to the voters. Texas did what they did. Indiana, a red state, was threatened by Donald Trump directly. Said he would remove funding and programs and everything if they didn't pass his gerrymandered map. And the Senate Republicans, folks, in the Senate of Indiana said, you know what, Donald, take it and shove it. They have decided they're not doing it. So people are now, Denise, to your point, the good news, there is good news that they are starting to stand up. Even the other side is starting to stand up.
Yeah, we're seeing that all over. And then, of course, we are talking about what's happening with, his continual rants against people from Africa.
Oh gosh!
And what
Somalia?
Said, exactly. I mean, well, he's talked about others too, but Somalia, who's at the top of the radar right now.
Right.
But I talked to Austin about that when he joins us, because we're kind of interested in seeing now. We thought we were at the sunset of the AGOA agreement. It looks like that might have some life in this administration, even though folks thought, I was with some ambassadors yesterday, I think Austin was too, who were fearful, over the last few months that was a closed or a done deal, but it looks like it might have some legs. So I'm not trying to take it. Misha, jump in, because I'm sorry.
No, what you're saying makes sense, but go ahead, Misha, jump in.
No, this is all great, and I think really exciting in terms of just not the news, but the fact that we are covering it. And I just wanted to give Stacey a shout out, because it's not just that you're sharing these awful things that in many stories do affect the Black community, but you're keeping us informed in a way that offers a call to action. Often, even today, you're saying you all have 5 days to get this done, and so we really appreciate that. But I think without further ado, and this is a perfect transition with all that you've talked about, Stacey, that it's time to bring on another one of our fearless writers, Sam P.K. Collins.
Oh boy, the awesome Sam P.K. Collins, the one and only Sam P.K. Collins.
Yes, all of the adjectives to describe how wonderful Sam is appropriate. But Sam, yes, Jada has said in the comments, guys, I have to shout out the man, the myth, and the legend.
The legend.
Yes, that's great. Professor Sam P.K. Collins, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking some time out to wrap up this year. Again, as I was talking about just January, and I said Stacey's name was on many of the bylines, then what you had the arduous task of doing is looking at it from a local angle. And so much this year. I still need you to break down where are we in the continuing resolution, if you don't mind, in this conversation. But so much, from local politics to federal things happening that affected us, to our young brothers and sisters doing amazing things here in the district. You've covered it all. Tell us some of the highlights of 2020. And you got married. I'm a shout out.
All that and got married too.
And he got married.
It's been a year. It's been a year. Man.
So tell us some of the highlights of 2025 for you.
No question. Peace and blessings, y'all. Thank you so much. Very humbled to be here. 2025 really started out with a bang with President Donald Trump's second inauguration. From that point on, we saw the hemorrhaging of the federal government, which affected DC's finances, seeing as though a lot of the federal government revenue through tax revenue and through business revenue downtown got decimated. And then in addition to that, we had the continuing resolution situation, which to my understanding has not been fully resolved. I can circle back with some more information on that, but that definitely hindered the budget process this year. As a matter of fact, the budget process for FY25 and FY26 wrapped up a bit later than usual. So by July 1st or so, that's when the budget got solidified and the council had sort of a shorter recess. But in all of that, DC Mayor Bowser was really adamant about pivoting DC's sources of money. She pushed the RFK Stadium deal, of course, that got solidified. The Commanders will be back by 2030. And we were also looking at just rebalancing the expectations for DC. So the Rental Act came about, and we have this battle between the landlords and the renters, many of whom who are saying that from the pandemic on, they're still suffering. So we have a lot on the table. And then even with I-82 and even I-83 as it relates to the restaurant industry and ranked choice voting, just a lot happened this year, in DC politics. But the overarching theme is federal intrusion and the budget process, and especially with Mayor Bowser stepping out and with Janice Lewis-George, Councilmember Janice Lewis-George running, and quite possibly Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, there's this question of where DC is going to go within the next 4 years. So it's quite an electrifying time in local politics, and I'm just happy to be here for it.
Hey, Sam, I was at an event yesterday, and folks are just asking me. If someone asked me, have you made your picks for 2026? Oh, that's another one. I like that.
I like that.
I said, no, it's too early. I got to see what Sam Collins reports because, seeing I was talking to, I guess it was at the chamber or Jack Evans talked about, the last time we had one of these really big overhauls of locally elected officials in DC, going back to 1994 and before, where you have, a member of Congress, the mayor, the number of council members. Now we are talking about possibly a new police chief. I mean, we're talking about scrubbing a slate and then creating all new. And what does that mean for the District of Columbia? Particularly still under this administration, it is going to be an amazing year, and we're going to have to get you another set of arms and legs to make sure that.
Oh, no question, because even with at-large Councilmember Anita Bond stepping aside, that at-large race is going to be crazy. If in fact Councilmember McDuffie steps into the race, he has to give up the independent designation to become a Democrat, which opens up his seat. Ward 1, Brianne Nadeau's not running anymore. That's going to be a crazy race. We're talking about nearly a dozen from what I'm told. Ward 5, Ward 3, Ward 6, DC Councilmember Trayon White's federal case got pushed back to March. Who knows what's going to come out of that? And if we're going to see another special election, it's just all over the board. And I'm being told that come Tuesday, DC Councilmember Anita Bonds is introducing legislation to push back ranked choice voting. So it's been a tug of war around that, just because people are very, I wouldn't say confused. The debate is about whether people east of the river are ready for a voting system like that and whether it's going to marginalize people. And, just one more point about the police chief. I wrote an article this week. We had this is my word right here. We had a bevy of opinions about the police chief. But I would say there's a lot of respect for her. There's some understanding about what she's gone through. At the very same time, people, from what I understand, are anxious about who's going to step in her shoes. especially at this time. And there's also questions of what could the Bowser administration have done. But, I think with that, we need like a civics lesson to some extent about what is possible. But I did talk with Janice Lewis-George, the candidate for mayor. She said she wanted to use the attorney general more in that case. That's where she criticized the mayor. But like I said, quite a lot going on. And
but we might even lose that.
Yeah, that's going
exactly.
on.
Exactly.
She can't use what we don't have. And
exactly.
Another thing we're going to have to keep our eyes on based upon what this administration, the control that they want to have over the District of Columbia, and how folks are stepping up. And I think before we move on, and maybe Jada can talk about this or whomever, but just how active when we talked with Stacey about the courts and how they have stepped up in the district. Sam, do you see more activism on the part of local residents, or do you think we're still in a state of shock and not knowing how to respond to the things that are happening in the city besides barbershop talk?
Oh, there's a lot of activism. As a matter of fact, I attended the Week of Healing last night that took place at New Image Community Baptist Church on Alabama Avenue. That event started with a peace walk that was supposed to be done in coordination with MPD and the National Guard. MPD followed in their car. National Guard never came. But once we got to the church, the clergy, from what I was told on the record, they organized more than a dozen clergy people around what to do if ICE and other federal agents were to bombard the churches looking for people. And there's also, and speaking of activism, we have a multiracial coalition that's been formed, especially after August 11th, as there was more frustration around the federalization and around DC Mayor Bowser's order. There were that coalition crossed lines economically and it crossed lines racially, and you see that manifest.
I would even say age as well. Sorry.
Exactly. No question. Yeah.
And you mentioned Denise and Sam, the AG. This AG that DC currently has, Swap, the job that he's done for all of DC, particularly marginalized DC. He has no problem walking into Ward 8 and hanging out in Ward 8. He has no problem in Ward stuff. This guy, if he leaves, if he has to leave, it's going to be a major loss. You talk about activism. He has done an amazing. I've covered him a lot, as Nisha knows, and he's proven his mettle. So DC has that going for it as well.
Wow. Absolutely. Well, I know we're supposed to be bringing on Jada, but I wanted to ask you two a question about some of your coverage this year that again uplifts our ancestors. But I think this is a great time to bring on Jada as well, as she was critical in us getting our obituaries together for our upcoming year-end edition. And we lost a lot of activists, freedom fighters this year. We lost so many great people, but and Sam and Stacey, you all kept the pulse on it. Sam, even before we lost Imam Jamil Amin, you covered him being sick in prison. And Stacey, I think you sent me the story at like 6:30 in the morning of his passing. And you all covered Assata Shakur with several stories. And so James is not here, but I want to uplift his coverage of Alexis Herman and her barrier breaking work. Interested, Viola Fletcher, I don't want to miss out on her as well. But just talk to us a little bit about your work in helping us remember some of the ancestors this year. And Jada, feel free to jump in because you had a few obits on there this year as well.
Yeah, I don't forget too. There was like just H. Rap Brown recently, right?
Yeah, I was using his other name, but yes, H. Rap Brown. Yeah,
Hazel Dukes. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of Malcolm Jamal Warner. the untimely death there. Yeah, exactly. So many, even Roberta Flack,
Jerry Butler, Angie
D'Angelo, Jerry Connolly, Bill Clay. I mean, the list goes on.
I would say one thing that I've noticed, I mean, I don't have nearly as much experience. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on today. I don't have nearly as much experience covering obits. I want to say my first obituary was Derek Ward, the NBC4 reporter that passed first in January, early January. And then, of course, I had the privilege of covering Dr. Renee Allen, the People's MC, her funeral, homegoing service. And even coming back to our unfortunate loss of James, you really get to see the impact that people have had. And I think a lot of the times, even with these big names, Malcolm Jamal Warner, D'Angelo, Assata Shakur, you have one idea of who they were, but to somebody else, they were someone entirely different. They did a whole, in Sam's words, bevy of other things that you had no idea. They were so impactful and on local and on a national scale. Right. And I especially saw that with James, watching the tributes pour in, the comments on social media, even having some people that, I've worked with in the community that have also worked with James coming and sending their condolences just from hearing about it. And just learning so much, even with Dr. Allen, learning so much. You think, she's a master of ceremony or a mistress of ceremonies, but she was so much more than that. She was an army veteran. She was doing integral work with, nonprofit communities in DC and encouraging this, and that. So I think if anything, if there is any sort of, dare I say, for lack of a better word, positive when we go through obituaries and during this time of reflection, it's really learning more about who these people were and the foundation they play in everything that goes on around us.
I'm sorry, Sam. I was just real quick. It's Jada. I think it's a great beat in a sense to have is the obit beat, if you will. I used to write for a outlet in Philadelphia, and it was all about obits, and you got to do it. It's just not just saying this person was this, that, and the other. You got to dig into who this person was, as you said, Jada, what they meant to people who knew and loved them. Yeah, and you get to dig into that. So I really enjoyed doing. I mean, you don't like when someone dies, but I do appreciate the task of having to do the obit.
Oh, the life story.
Mm-hmm. The life story,
yeah. Sam, you were about to.
Yes. In regards to Imam Jamil Al-Amin and Assata Shakur, two very esteemed ancestors, I find it very, very timely that in their transition. And what I would like to leave us here with today is that they were radical in the sense that they showed the authenticity of what America was and what it continues to be. Mm-hmm. Assata Shakur, President Obama under his administration, the bounty on her head doubled from what I understand. And Imam Jamil Amin, H. Brown, was a victim of anti-Islam sentiments post 9/11, and he was also a victim of attempts by the Democrats to pretty much neutralize the Black Power movement and the SNCC movement by sort of pitting him against what's our other ancestor's name? Forgive me. Good Trouble. My God.
John Lewis.
John Lewis. Forgive me. And this is very important, and I'll leave this here because the danger of Donald Trump is that Donald Trump makes all leftists and Democrats look the same, when in fact you have moderate Democrats, you have conservative Democrats, and you have real leftists. So at this time, we have to really assess ourselves as those of us on the left about what really constitutes a real person who is for the people, because there are going to be people here who frame their whole ascent into politics around anti-Trumpism rather than the issues, the bread and butter issues that we need to face as people living in the United States. And I'll leave that there.
I want to say that one of our other writers who I think is on standby or in the green room, Austin Cooper, pointed out an article with the obituary of H. Rap Brown, which referenced a Washington Informer article about them. And so, our stories are being read all across the nation, and that's in other, as Stacy called them, mainstream media. I just call them, the white guys up the street. But anyway, I'm glad that they're reading and taking note of some of the things that we have been covering. And anyway, so I don't want to belabor that, but I just wanted to say that it does exist.
Yes. And if I could hop in real quick, DRB, and I think this would also be a great way, because, we talk a lot about what's going on in DC, but of course we keep a pulse on the Maryland side of things. And one thing that DC and Maryland, we'd be remiss to talk about the lives lost this year without acknowledging the many that are going to be lost next year when we're looking at the healthcare situation going on right now. Literally yesterday, the Senate rejected both the Republican and Democrats' healthcare plan that was supposed to give us some sort of solace going into the new year of what our healthcare system would be. As of right now, it looks like the ACA funds are definitely going to expire at the end of this month. Millions of people are going to start the new year not knowing if they have healthcare insurance, knowing if their Medicaid coverage will still be, viable at their current providers, et cetera. And it's shocking to say no, but without a plan. It's just like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to extend this. We're not going to give that. And it goes to Sam's point. They're looking at it from a different thing, but it's not. It's just people's lives. And I had the pleasure of speaking with Bishop William Barber, the leader of the Moral Mondays movement. And one thing that he said to me when he, along with DC clergy, along with Maryland clergy, were delivering eulogies November 24th, the eulogies of the lives that will be lost if we don't figure out this healthcare issue. And one thing that he said to me was, when you die, you don't die Republican, you don't die Democrat, you don't die black or white, you die dead. That's it. So I think in a sense, I didn't get to see exactly what the Maryland side was doing on this particular issue, but I know that they've also been very involved in that. And I think in general, part of what the Informer has been doing is bringing awareness to the smaller issues and showing the domino effect of everything that's going on. Because people who may not use Medicaid or may not rely on the Affordable Care Act, well, if this happens, hospitals are going to close. Your insurance may not be viable at your physician, at your pediatrician, whatever. So
you simply can't afford it.
You can't afford it. Yeah. So maybe we'll be able to.
I was going to say,
Obamacare, this is where we were. This is how we ended up with Obamacare because of the crisis that was happening in the community. And I think we're going to bring on Richard, since you talked about Maryland. Jada, bring on Richard Elliott, who covers the Prince George's side of the road. Richard, what's up?
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to report some awesome news. We have our new historic, I'm going to say speaker-elect. I think we're the only people using that term. Jocelyn Peña-Melnick. She will be only the second Latina speaker in the nation's history. A longtime chair of the Health and Government Operations Committee. If you want to look at how Maryland responded to COVID better than a lot of other states, a lot of that credit, in my opinion, goes upon her. She was offered the speaker position more or less in 2019 after the former speaker passed, and she gave that opportunity away to outgoing Speaker Adrian Jones. You almost never see in American politics a person give up that level of power for the good of the state. And I believe that she will be a very moral, a very knowledgeable, a very honest, and a very, very kind speaker.
Richard, you all had a lot of change in Prince George's County as well. I mean, you got a new senator, new county exec, all these women now who are leading in Prince George's and the state of Maryland. What do they do now for their people now that they have these positions? What's been sort of the evaluation you would give year end?
So for Senator Alsobrooks, I think has done an outstanding job primarily in standing up to the dreaded RFK and his desires to get all of us sick, his desire to not give Black people vaccines, his outrageous medical racism. From the earliest testimony, she was calling him out and saying that your beliefs are just fundamentally dangerous, and has been holding that drum strong for the entire time. Crystal Oriata was recently elected council chair, and she is going to be, I believe, the first African immigrant who's going to be chair of any council in the state. Very historic. She's serving alongside Eric Olson, who is, I think this is about to be what would be his fourth term as a council member. Very, very knowledgeable, very good at development. What is the fight in Prince George's County? What are they going to do with the Six Flags site? What are they going to do with the Landover site? And really, more so than anything, how do we deal with the lack of money because Donald Trump declared economic war on us? It is a very difficult thing to address, but Landover and Six Flags are kind of the heart of that.
And Richard, just for folks, because we know what you're talking about, but just say what Landover was. Supposed to be.
The former Landover Mall site near the Commanders' current stadium. Yeah. Huge property that was originally being considered for the FBI headquarters, is now kind of in a legal limbo. But the question of data centers, not just in Prince George's, but in Frederick County and in Baltimore County, is going to be a paramount question. And next year, energy policy is going to be heavy on the minds of all of our readers.
Absolutely. I mean, and Maya's not on, is she?
She's not.
Okay, because she's been our expert on the data centers in particular, and environmental coverage. She's done such a great job of keeping a pulse on it in general this year. But Richard, one of the other things that I wanted you to talk about, and I think this is great with everyone on, I don't know if you've all seen in our chat, DRB has created our official special midterm election special edition theme. But the midterms are coming up, and I didn't realize until I was working on our year end how much will shift in Prince George's County. We talked about in DC and the amount of elections coming up there, but even the county executive seat is up for grabs in 2026. Tell us a little bit, with the transition and economic crisis that's happening, what we should be looking out for in Prince George's County, particularly the voters there.
All right. So I think paramount, no matter how much money you have, energy policy. If we add data centers, everybody's energy bills could potentially go up depending on how the rates are set and how the policy is set. I think secondary would be the relationship between the governor, the speaker, and the county administration. Jocelyn Pena-Melnick represents Prince George's, and we're keeping Ben Barnes, the chair of appropriations. Is Prince George's going to be able to bring back more bacon from Annapolis than in traditional years, helping us to address our economic woes? And aside from those two, the third big one is how strong is Wes Moore in this county heading towards a potential general election bid with Larry Hogan. As things stand right now, I don't believe Larry Hogan is going to run. The redistricting issue has been a very big area of strength for Governor Moore, whereas Governor Hogan has been saying the whole time, don't redistrict. There's still the potential, though, with the economy and with a variety of other things, that even with a blue wave, that Larry Hogan is a strong candidate against Wes Moore like he was against Ben Jealous in 2018.
Wow, that is news to me, certainly.
Oh, and my bad, I forgot something else. The Congressional 5 race, there is potential for the beloved, the old Steny Hamilton Hoyer to retire, costing us all of our tenure. May God bless him and keep him in Congress.
All I have to say is, Rep. Hoyer's office, can we just note that, but Richard said old, but he meant wise.
When I say old, it's a compliment. It's been difficult most of human history to get old. It's a compliment to his wisdom.
So you know how we are. We've gotten very technical, but this is what we do when we are people who deal in the world of words.
Yeah.
Yes, words are so important. Adjectives make the difference.
They do. They certainly do. And, you know, we don't have a lot of time left, but I just have to say I'm getting a little emotional talking about it. So bear with me, folks. But I can just hear James's laugh and see his smile during this entire conversation, but particularly talking about Maryland politics, which got him very excited. And we know he was actually active in and was a council member in Seat Pleasant. But it is that time to transition and talk about our beloved James Wright. I know all of you all are going to probably put some news up in there because that's what we do. But we want to make sure we are bringing in some folks to uplift James's life and legacy. Is everybody on who's backstage? That's
Austin, I think we missed. Oh, there he is. Okay.
There he
And
is.
we want to bring on, you mean our guest?
Claudia.
are we bringing on? Yes, there's Claudia. Yes, wonderful. Yes, perfect. Oh, we have a full house. I love it. So well deserved for such an amazing, amazing man. Thank you all for being here and remembering James. Claudia, I'm going to start with you, not to put you on the spot, but you had a great memory about James 5 years ago in his 2020 election coverage. And so I just would like for you to take it away and talk about some of your James memories and his contributions.
Sure thing. So for me, I call him Senor James or Mr. James, exemplified diverse reporting of the city. Like I think I heard many of you talk about how wonderful the city is and how diverse it is. And he lived through that. He acted on it too, which was something that I, for as long as I lived in DC, I grew up in DC as an immigrant. It's so appreciative and it feels so lonely sometimes, right? So having someone who saw us and who included us in the Washington Informer, which is a Black a press, right? Which is really important because that goes into the history of the city as a whole, was really important. I felt valued every time I spoke to him, and that's really important because so many times, especially these days, we don't, like immigrants, we don't feel valued, right? And our contributions are erased, right? They're mainly perceived as something to be saved, like a body to be saved, but not necessarily a body that contributed. And every time Mr. James would reach out to me, it was to speak about policy in the city, to speak about politics, to speak about like the issues like displacement, gentrification, and solutions. And I think that was really important because we're all experiencing this together, and he wanted to hear what solutions we were able to provide. And then he would also observe, which was really important. So I'll go back to one of the conversations that I had, I've had prior to COVID, he would reach out to me again just to to talk about issues, whether it was, like DPW, Public Works, not helping communities clean our alleyways, right? Things like that to that level. But also he would talk about policies. So for example, in Ward 8, at the time I was working in DC Council, finding solutions for Ward 8 specifically for the community. And he covered the community benefits agreement at Union Square. which was a really important win for the community. We got over $1 million from developers in that CBA. And those wins are not necessarily covered, right? And that was something that he did. And the fact that, you know, he went to the meeting because we had a big community meeting, and I was the only immigrant there, right, who was in the team who drafted the CBA. That was pretty cool. And the fact that he included that in the report in his reporting was really good. And then I think what you were mentioning is like in 2020, especially about elections that you were talking about, like right now we see so many seats available, right? I in particular ran in the 2020 election for the independent at-large seat. It was one seat then, and over 20 people, 20 candidates were running, and we ran all the way through the end, right? And this was during COVID. 20 plus candidates for one seat, in comparison to what we're seeing today, that so many seats available right now. And it's a question of, you know, what diversity are we going to see in the candidacy, and diversity not just in color of our skin or ethnic or ancestry, but also in our perspectives. Ever since I became an independent, I stayed an independent. I didn't go back to the Democratic Party. And that was for particular reasons, right? Because I felt more free. And it's that diversity that Mr. James would talk about, and he included in his reporting. So that's it.
No, that's amazing. And I know I kept seeing the name pop up from time to time, and now I get to put a name with a face, which is fantastic, Claudia. And we really are grateful for your, for your memories and participation in our show today. One thing we did talk about, I'm going to crack on somebody, I'm sorry, but one thing we did talk about, was James's smile. And Mikael doesn't seem to have one of those smiles. Oh, there he goes.
It is actually hilarious that you call on me, because I usually keep a very stoic demeanor until someone points out how stoic I am. But it is a pleasure to be invited here by this cohort of his colleagues, persons who have been written upon by, to me, Brother Wright. We call him brother because he is a part of our family. He is a member of my chapter, the New Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Brother Cooper is also here. He's also a member of our fraternity. So that memory for me is one that extends beyond 13 years, when I was just a wee interested candidate, trying to become a member of the organization. And Brother Wright was a member of the Omicron Lambda Alpha chapter. He was for many years. The members of that chapter have embraced and loved him way beyond my own emotions and thoughts, because as of late, every month, and I mentioned this on my own personal posts, every month, James would call me just to find out when our meetings were. And he did this for almost a year. Every month I would get a call, and he would invite other members of the organization to become reclaimed. And in September, he joined my chapter because he listened to and looked at me just like he was invested in politics and invested in his community. He invested his time to research the work that I was doing in this chapter, which is the eldest chapter of Alpha on the alumni level in Washington, D.C. We're 103 years old, and I'm one of the youngest presidents that the chapter has had. So he placed a lot of trust in me with his investigation to actually recognize that this is a place that he wanted to make home very recently. So in September, he joined the chapter, and now he's with our ancestors. So to me, this griot that the Washington Informer has lent to the world, his family, his friends that are here right now, I extend a sense of gratitude because he has written about me at different points in times. Brother Cooper, I know the burden is heavy, but you being the sole, the sole alpha left, I hope that this continues to encourage other members of the organization to write freely, to write with that sense of authority about the things that matter most to our communities. So I am filled with gratitude, more than anything else, for the opportunity to speak on his behalf. I know the Prayer Review alum, he was initiated into the Theta Gamma chapter of the fraternity in 1994. I know the Prayer Review alum, they are saddened by the loss, and I will miss his smile, as you mentioned. I'll try not to be as stoic as I am regularly, but his smile lives on through all of us. That gentle giant that we know, Brother Wright to be. So thank you.
Thank you, Mikael. Thank you. I don't want to hold. I don't mind holding Austin, but I don't want to hold Doxie, because he mentioned you, and Austin's. Not only is he an alpha. I'm sad to hear he's the only one left, but
we'll fix that, Denise. Don't worry.
Okay. All right, but yeah, Doxie McCoy. Just WABJ, NABJ, Office of the People's Council. I mean, just all the relationships that you've had with James, and we're so glad that you were able to join us today.
Well, thank you, Denise, and thank you, Misha, for inviting me to be on. Yes, I've known James. I knew him for probably over 20 years in different sectors. Most recently, the last time I saw James was on November 8th at the Washington Association of Black Journalists, or WABJ, the Special Honors and Scholarship Gala. And James, and I received the President's Award, and James nominated me for that award. And James nominated me for WABJ award, not once, but twice. He nominated me last year for an award, and I didn't win one. And then come to find out, he nominated me again. When I got the call from Phil Lewis, who's the president of the Washington Association of Black Journalists, Phil said to me, well, you need to get in touch with James, because James is the one who's pushing and pushing and pushing you to get this award. And in fact, during the awards gala, Phil gave another shout out to James for his persistence. And I gave a shout out to James for his persistence. And I really appreciated James. I respected what he did as a journalist and the important stories that he wrote when he called me to get a quote on some issue when I was working with Congresswoman Norton or working for Mayor Vincent Gray, and now as a public information officer with the Office of the People's Council. And I think it was just that mutual respect. I respected him as a seasoned journalist and reporter, and he respected me as a public servant. And of course, we had the connection with the sororities and fraternities, because I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and a brother and sister fraternity. And so not only did he cover the events and do stories about government, he also covered many AKA events, because he knew that the sorority was all about service, and many of the events that we had were about raising funds for community organizations. So he knew the importance of all those also. So I'm just so grateful that I was able to be friends with him.
Well, we didn't even notice that you were an AKA. Sort of went by us.
I could not have guessed.
Representing accordingly. I love it. I try to wear my pink and green as well.
Right. Or that Mikael is an alpha. We wouldn't have noticed that. Would have noticed may have been Austin, who is kind of in the mix as well. Austin, you want to jump in?
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Getting that text and then having a conversation, I guess almost 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think, 2 weeks ago, with Chevrolet. Nothing could have shocked me more about learning of the passing of a fraternity brother, friend, and colleague. I think what a lot of people outside of the Informer don't know is that this is a family. And I first met James probably in 2015, 2016. Immediately, we had immediately identified each other as fraternity brothers. But when I joined the team officially in 2019, that's when I noticed how important the Washington Informer was to James. It was immediately clear to me that the Washington Informer was not just a job; that we were his family, we were his brothers, we were his sisters, we were his cousins, and he loved the Informer, and he loved his community. Um, we also had close birthdays. On November 9th, James turned 62. On November 21st, I turned 63. But James to me was a fraternity brother. I guess if I have one regret, it's all of our conversations about the fraternal brotherhood. I never asked him, why did you become Alpha as opposed to joining another fraternity? For me, it was my dad. It was my uncle, who was an attorney here and a member of Mu Lambda chapter for over 50 years, and some of the other, Dr. King and Andrew Young and others. But I wish I had posed that question to him. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss his, James got everywhere. If we could somehow, Denise and team, uh, get an account of how many times he swiped his Metro card. I think all of that, because James got everywhere. It was amazing. I would see James getting off the bus. I would see him coming out of the Metro. Not having a car did not deter him from covering the story. I'm going to also miss, James was a historian. James, as we all know, was literally a walking Google. You can ask James anything about history, be it national, local, federal. Whatever. James always had the answer. And finally, I'm going to miss his laugh. He had a gut wrenching, hearty laugh. Sometimes on pitch calls, I would be like, James, was it really that funny? But to James, it was that funny, and he would be doubled over with laughter. So rest in peace, Fred.
No, that is so accurate, Austin. That laugh, it was like a roar.
Exactly.
It could shake your computer screen. He would be cracking up, and it would make me crack up because I'm like, you know what?
Exactly.
Sometimes it would come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
That was the most
Laughing like
bizarre
5
part.
minutes after.
Yes. Or you'd read a facial expression and you think it's one thing and then it's something completely different, and it's always hilarious. I just wanted to share because, I had known James so long. We were I worked with him at the Afro-American newspapers as well, and then we both came to the Informer. And one of the thing, I thought I knew James for a very long time. But I was really honored to work on his obituary the past couple weeks. And I learned so much about him. And so I want to uplift some of those things we wouldn't know. James loved to dance, which we kind of had a clue of. We've seen him at events. But his sister confirmed that. James read the encyclopedia as a kid. Who does that? James Wright. James has always been involved in Chevry Lassiter, our amazing producer, also reads the encyclopedia. So let me fact check that for all of our folks. She told us. So
She got too much time on her hands.
But yes, he was a page for the Texas State Capitol. This amazes me. He's always kind of been news adjacent. He had a paper route as a kid, and then he wrote for the Villager newspaper, which I was not familiar with. I thought it was his school newspaper. And his sister's like, no, that was the newspaper in his hometown. He was a lifelong volunteer. I knew of his amazing volunteer work as an alpha, of course, and we know that is a vow we take in joining sororities and fraternities. But James was about that way before he ever, to your wonderful question that I think we can do some digging on, Austin, is why he became an alpha. But way before he made that decision, he was reading to young people, to students at a school for the blind. He just he worked getting young people registered to vote. I mean, he was always active in doing something. I'll leave you with this last fact. He played saxophone in award-winning bands. So just, you think you know a person, and I think that was beautifully said earlier, Jada, about when you're working on these obituaries, is you think you know all of their, so many of their contributions, and yet there's so much more about who these people are, because we know that the ancestors still live and do. And James has been getting on me, getting these papers out the past 2 weeks, no question. So, we will continue to keep James' memory alive, and we miss his byline already, but we're still using his contributions in a major way.
Honestly, if James ever came on a meeting with a saxophone, I wouldn't have been surprised.
It's true.
They said that, and I was like, really? And I was like, no, that makes complete sense.
I do have a brief video of him dancing, by the way. We used to, Greer and I used to tease him with it. So I got to dig it out and share it.
Oh, please.
Please.
Yeah. Well, I want to, first of all, thank our producers, Chevry Lassiter and Jamon Jackson, for actually helping to pull this show together. For us to talk about what we're doing, what we've done this year, what we're doing at the end of the year, and what we, I'll add this part in a minute, but what we hope to do moving forward. Somebody's doing something. I don't know what that background noise is. And then also to thank all of you all for being with us today. This has been an amazing program, and something we want to do more often too. I think it's a great idea. We talk about having our reporters roundtable, but I like having it with community folks. So Claudia, don't be a stranger. You'll be back, and you too, Mikael and Doxie. You're always family. So we'll make sure that happens. And before we close, as I said in the beginning, our theme has been we survived 25. What are we going to fix in 2026? I keep changing it, so don't try to,
It all is the same theme.
So I'm going to start, if you don't mind, with our guest, Claudia. What are we going to fix in 2026?
I think unity. We need to fix unity. We need to get us united. That would be the biggest thing. Fix our unity.
Fantastic. All right, Mikael?
For me, we need to fix our community. There has been a large sense of disconnect, and this survival instinct that came in 2025 has exacerbated the need for us to really fix our sense of community and togetherness in 2026. So kudos.
Thank you. Doxie?
I think we need to fix this whole situation with the District of Columbia. I'm a 5th generation Washingtonian, and the way things are going with the federal takeover, we've got to do something about it. I'm pray and hope our next set of leaders will be able to do something.
All right, Austin?
There is an incredible lack of compassion for others that is permeating our community in a way that I have never, frankly, never seen. And I think if we can bring more, love and kindness and compassion amongst one another and amongst the least of these, that would be a great contribution by the Informer through our story, through our videos, etc.
Wonderful. Okay. Jada.
Hey, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off Austin's. I think there's just a lot of division in general, and it's kind of just kind of forced in accurate things, whether it's religion, whether it's class, whether it's thinking these healthcare issues don't apply to you, but they might. We just need people to really understand the domino effect of everything.
Okay, and me, Chevy wants you to say the same exact words all over.
Oh man, if only I had the recording. I think I'll piggyback off Austin's answer. Yeah. I think there's a lot of division in the community, and whether it's religion, economic, class, people thinking certain issues that are affecting our community doesn't affect them. If we can get people to see the kind of loophole of all this stuff, that might fix a lot of issues.
Wonderful. Okay, Richard.
Everybody's been correct so far. If I want to add anything, if the Democrats don't retake the House, Lord help us.
Yes.
So what are we going to fix? What are we going to fix?
The Republican majority in the House of Representatives. Hopefully, prayerfully.
Okay. All right. Sam Collins. Sam P.K. Collins.
Yes.
Black folks need a new racial imagination in 2025. Donald Trump is not the boogeyman. We're just too scared. And we need a reset of our values for when after we get out of this. Because I said it before and I'll say it again. We laid the mat down for Donald Trump by accepting other softer forms of Trumpism. And it's about time that we look in the mirror and figure out what we did to get ourselves in this so that once we get out of this, we can be free. And not just the 1% of us being free. I mean, everybody being free. Give thanks.
I love that.
Okay, Mr. Stacy Brown.
Well, when you have somebody as brilliant as Austin and as beautiful as Jada, you have to follow those two. And I am going to follow those two and say it this way, that we have to fix in 2026 the Black press, including the Washington Informer, and fix it this way. Come together. Mm-hmm. This idea of doing it separate is outdated. It's wrong. It's not working. And if we came together, we always talk about the power of the Black dollar, the power of Black folks if they came together. How about the power of the Black press and all Black media, Black-owned media? If we came together, imagine how we can defeat something like Trumpism, how we can defeat something like redlining and all of these other things that continue to cause havoc in our community. So that's what I say fix in 2026.
Okay, and thank you, Stacey. And our illustrious leader, Misha Green.
I'm inspired by all that you all have to say. And so my word is action. If all of these things need to be fixed in 2026, we have to take the action to make sure that we have a pulse on these issues, that we're covering it fearlessly, and in the process that we as reporters are holding these leaders, these advocates, all those folks that we're saying need to do these things to fix, that we're holding them accountable. So my hope is action in 2026 and that we will get there.
So in closing, everybody, I will add my little 2 cents here. And I will just say that there's a lot that we can work on and fix in 2026. And the Washington Informer wants to really fix the way we engage with the community. We need to hear from you. We want to fix the doors or the pathways through which you can communicate with us, and then we can amplify your voices. I hear you, Stacey Brown, and I agree, because we want to focus on a couple of things. We want to fix how our community is dealing with healthcare. We want our community to become healthier. And how can we fix this? Because we want to reach out to folks and let you all have the information that you need to become a healthier community. We want to fix finances. we've seen what can happen when people want to pull the rug from under us and not pay us or take our jobs away from us, or increase prices, or which we saw this year, how boycotts can work. But, I think personally, there's a personal finance opportunity that we need to fix. We want to fix our own when it comes to home ownership. What are we doing to make sure that land, that homes, that the assets that we have help to actually build a greater, what's the word I'm trying to think of? When you pass things on to
generational wealth.
Generational wealth, right? We have been telling these stories and telling these stories and telling these stories, and we're going to continue to tell them because we want to help our community to fix the basics of what makes life worth living and beneficial to us and generations moving forward. And I guess the last thing I want to fix in 2026 is my desk. It's a mess. It's my desk and it's a mess, and I'm going to fix that before 2026. So with that, everybody, I want to say thank you so very much for being with us today. I don't think I missed anybody, but we will be back next week, I think. What are we doing next week, Chevry? I don't know if our producer wants to join us, but maybe our co-producer, Jamon Jackson, just to give us a heads up on what you all can look forward to at Let's Talk. We are going to be attending James Wright's homegoing service on next Friday at Hemingway United. Is that right? Hemingway United Methodist Church in Prince George's County. The information is there. If you want to join us, we certainly would love to see you with us and to say farewell to our mighty, mighty friend. We will not be broadcasting live next week. So we will see you when we see you again. This is Denise Rollard Barnes, the team of the Washington Reformer, and our wonderful, wonderful guests saying thank you for joining us and see you next time.